Hello, my name's Bev and I'm the author of the book Please Eat, A Mother's Struggle to Free Her Teenage Son from Anorexia, which describes our family's battle with the deadly eating disorder, anorexia nervosa, which my teenage son Ben developed back in 2009 when he was just 15 years old. I'm going to read two posts here from the 4th of July 2011 and the 5th of July 2011, and they're both about the problem of socialising, of Ben getting back into socialising with his friends after having been off the radar for a couple of years. And I was really worried that things were heading back to where they were during the days of high anorexia as far as the socialising was concerned, because it's heartbreaking to see your child lonely and feeling distant from their friends, from friends that they're very good friends that they'd had. And this first post is called Worried About the Summer Holidays Again. I'm worried that Ben isn't socialising much recently, if at all. Socialising was always a sticky issue with the eating disorder, and after a period of improvement, I worry we've gone backwards on this count. The summer holidays start on Friday, and I'm concerned that Ben will spend much of it alone, despite prompts from us to find things to do over the summer. It's all too easy for Ben to spend time with us rather than socialising with people his own age. As a result, there's been a huge amount of pressure on us as parents over the last 24 months. At our stage of life, most parents are busy adjusting to the fact that the chicks have flown the nest or are about to do so. In our household, the chick is extremely reluctant to leave the cosy confines of the parental nest and socialise with his friends, and the prospect of 8 or so weeks depending on primarily me for entertainment isn't healthy or ideal. Last summer, Ben was going through the evil stage of high anorexia. By then he had completely cut himself off from his friends and wasn't in a fit mental state to do any successful socialising. The odd attempts at contacting friends were disastrous. For example, when he emailed one of his friends to say, "Give me 3 good reasons why I should carry on living." Result, an urgent phone call from that friend's mother telling me how upset her son was at the email, and total panic from me. The previous summer, as Ben started to exhibit the signs of anorexia, he swapped his friends for an hour upon hour at the gym or running around local streets. When he wasn't doing this, he was frantically decalorising and defatting recipes to, quote, make them more healthy, unquote. The alarm bells had started ringing as it became increasingly clear that things weren't as they should be. But I can't help feeling that he's at the stage where he really should be socialising more with his friends and relying less on us, his parents, for entertainment. And the next post from the 5th of July 2011 is called Trying to Pick Up Where You Left Off Before You Took Off for Planet Eating Disorder. We had a heated discussion last night, shall we say, about the problems Ben is having trying to pick up where he left off with his friends before the eating disorder arrived on the scene 2 years ago. Before the anorexia isolated Ben from his friends, he was one of the most popular boys in his friendship circle and liked by everybody. Okay, he was naturally quiet and reserved, and his friendship circle might be described by his more boisterous peers as a bit geeky or whatever. But as parents, we couldn't have been more delighted with Ben's choice of friends. In fact, he was so popular that Ben's birthday parties were famous for running over 2 whole days. The first day, half his friends came round for a sleepover, then everyone met up to watch a movie and have a meal on the Saturday afternoon. Then the other half of the friendship group came round here for a second sleepover. And of course each sleepover was followed by an enormous breakfast. After all, we're talking about growing teenage boys. After a rocky start on the social scene, following bullying at primary school, things had been going from strength to strength at his lovely secondary school. Then, zap, pow, in came the eating disorder and put a halt to everything, and Ben was jet-propelled to the isolation of planet eating disorder for nearly 2 years. During that time, his friends matured and changed, as teenagers do. Some friends left the group, others joined. Right now, Ben is finding it very hard to get back into this friendship group. He feels sidelined and ignored. He feels tolerated and left in the background. He's not invited to social events like parties or nights out. His former best friends have now paired off with girls, which makes it particularly difficult to pin them down. He's concerned his peers still view him as a bit weird because they saw what anorexia could do to its victims' behaviours and moods at its height. Doubtless they found this disturbing, frightening even, and for ages Ben has felt as if they regard him with sympathy rather than genuine friendship. Also, having been in school part-time over the past academic year, it hasn't helped matters. Back in November, Cams went into school to talk to a hand-picked group of Ben's peers during a period when he was finding it particularly difficult to get back into things. It was reasonably successful and seemed to kick-start a not too bad trickle of social invitations, and for the first time since anorexia arrived, Ben felt included in conversations in the classroom and common room. But all this seems to have ground to a halt, and Ben feels incredibly lonely, and he can't understand why it's so hard to pick up where he left off 2 years ago, when he was liked by everyone. Of course, it breaks my heart. I threw loads of practical suggestions into the pot last night, all of which were met with a negative response. So I have no idea what to do next, really. Meanwhile, as I said in my last entry, the summer holidays starts on Friday, and with it potentially 8 weeks or so of social isolation. And that's the end of those 2 posts. Thank you for listening. You'll find a link below to my blog, and you'll also find a link to my website where you can download free PDFs of my blog, and also a link to Amazon where you can buy a copy of my book.